Hi, my name is Dwayne Stacy. I work for Kahnawake Tourism, and today what we're going to do is we're going to have a virtual tour of the old part of Kahnawake village. Starting back in the history of Kahnawake goes way back into like 1660, but the present site of Kahnawake it dates back to 1716. And back in those days, we were still living in longhouses, and in order to protect the village, Kahnawake built a fort, a palisade wall around the village area, and it was made of wood, and it would have been situated right behind me. And from this end of the village, the east end, to the other side would have been about I'd say about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile long. So it was up there in 1725, and it was later changed. Part of it was replaced with a stone wall. The remains of the fort now there's only two walls left, really, and there may be plans to repair some of it in the future. In the village area, we have a few monuments. Right in front of the church, there's a monument for the War of 1812. If you're coming here and you want to see a little bit of the history, it talks about the Battle of Chateauguay, talks about the other battles that happened in 1812, and if you look at it, it has the names of all the men who were participating in the battles that were from Kahnawake, and it was put up in 2012, and so that's one monument we have. And then just a little west of that, there's another monument which is dedicated to the members of the Kahnawake military. It's a cenotaph, and it deals with World War I and the Korean War and Vietnam and World War II, and that's used yearly on Remembrance Day. Also tied in with the Remembrance Day stuff is Legion Hall 219, which is on the east end of the village. And one of the most popular things for tourism people like to see is that we have a tank parked outside. So when you come down the street here, there is a full-size tank sitting in the middle of the field, which tends to be popular with the tourists. When I do a tour, they love that thing. The other things that happen is the village is, like I said earlier, dating back to 1716. And in the beginning, there were longhouses. And what happened over the years is that they changed into stone houses and wooden houses over the years. But up close to the church, a few doors down, they say that the last longhouse where people actually lived in was about three yards over from the church. We've dug there before with some archaeologists, and we find a lot of stuff there. So Kahnawake old village is still full of all kind of archaeological stuff. The houses have various dates. If you're into old stone homes, you look at all the houses. There's different dates going back all the way into 1700. We have one that's dated 1718. So they claim that it's the first house in Kahnawake that was stone. They were used for regular homes. There is one home, the 1718 house, was actually the old post office. It was a store, and it was a barracks for soldiers, British soldiers who were living in Kahnawake at the time. So every house here has a different story. Some people have stories of hauntings and scary stories, which, when you have old homes, makes it interesting. And if somebody's into that stuff, then you can look into that kind of stuff too. As time goes on, the houses change. One of the most popular houses is right next to the church. We have a castle, which is a private home. It's right at the edge of the village, the old village, and it seems to be a popular spot for the tourists to look at. Pretty much every house has a little bit of a history to it, and there's probably more research that can be done, and we can find out more about them.
It's gonna be alright.